Good day, everybody, and welcome to another version here of High Heat. Moses and Mitch Green, Liberty Mutual, you and me, as we hopefully get ready for a baseball season, which obviously is 60-gamer. Sounds like maybe July 23rd. Training camps will begin spring training 2 sometime in the middle of this week. And here's Bob Melvin. He will run the A's. We got a lot to do with Robert in a short period of time. We say hello. Bob, you staying healthy? Good to talk. How are you today, pal?
Yeah,
okay?
so far so good. All good. We got some testing going on the next few days. Hopefully we're on the field. At least our schedule is on Saturday, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Have you been sequestered in Arizona, Bob? You got a lot of places, and you've had a lot of spots in your history that you can go hang out in. Where have you been since March 10th? Let me hear. Go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't been doing much anything. Actually, I've been volunteering at a horse property, Tierra Madre, which is a horse and human sanctuary. My wife works there. There's talk about social distancing. It's you're 60 feet away from anybody, but getting to help some horses that are rescue horses, and it's been a lot of fun and learned a lot about horsing. And Jim Gath does a great job there, and it's just been a kind of a enlightening place to be in a difficult time.
All right, and that's in Arizona, so you've been there since spring training. All right, now what? Listen, let's do players first. How much trepidation? We've seen 3 or 4 guys, Desmond and Zimmerman, folks like that. How much trepidation, and I'm sure you've been in contact, do you think the A's players might have as far as coming back and playing? What's your sense on that first?
You really don't know until you get all the testing in. You cross your fingers that it's not a high number. You're seeing already some cases, and there will be some, but hopefully it's to a minimum. Hopefully the guys have been, sequestering like all of us have been, and knowing that you need to get to spring training, and it's about the other guy next to you. So you need to stay healthy, and everybody needs to if we're going to get this thing going.
All right. Are the A's going to have spring training in Oakland, or are they going to have spring training here down in Phoenix? Where are you guys going?
No, we're in Oakland, so we'll it's a little more difficult to do in your home ballpark, with one field as opposed to spring training, but it makes sense to do it there. You want to get the season going. You don't want to have another move and so forth. So we figured Oakland's the best place to do it.
All right, in 3 weeks, listen, after a long pause with a quick season, what's Bob Melvin's job here between Saturday and the July 23rd? What's the main thing you have to get accomplished?
Get our guys healthy and incrementally get our starters to where we're comfortable with them going, whether it's 5 or 6 innings to begin with. I know a lot of our guys have been throwing. We have some young guys that are eager. The guys like Luzardo and Puck, this will be their first time in the rotation, and they're eager to go. So they've been keeping themselves ready. But until you get there and actually get things going, you're not sure. But I know our guys are excited about finally getting back on the field.
All right. Is there a twin situation with the A's where you have a few older coaches that you're going to be careful about? Or you got a younger coaching staff, Bob? How about that for a sec with your team?
I think it's a little bit younger. I might be the oldest guy on the staff. I'm not sure. So I'm 58, but our guys are eager. When the decision came down that we were going to start, there wasn't one bit of hesitation out of any of our coaches. So they're eager to get back on the field with our guys and start playing baseball, like I said.
All right. Now, what is listen, in the 60-game scenario, and the A's have sometimes gotten off to slow starts. Right. And you can get around that with 162. This year, we know 60 games, it's a sprint, not a marathon. You got to pedal the metal right away. I'm sure you've thought a lot about that. How's Bob Melvin going to manage that way? Let me hear.
Yeah, it's going to be brought up. And, we felt like we had the group this year to get off to a good start anyway. Typically, we, play the first couple months. We take stock. Billy and David do a great job of giving us reinforcements as we go along. But we felt like for the first time in quite a while, this is a group that could be together the entire season. So we talked about in spring training 1.0, trying to get off to a good start. Now you're going into a pennant race right away. So it's like you're playing on August 1st in normal season. The urgency is going to be there. I don't think that'll be a problem for us.
All right, young players on the road being sequestered in hotels. Bob, you're going to have to keep an eye on that. How are you going to do there? Let me see. Let me hear.
Yeah, that's, it's going to have to be a bubble. And our guys already know that. We will reinforce that every day, that the teams that are going to have the best chance are the ones that are taking this seriously. You go to the hotel, you go back to, to the ballpark and try to limit it to that. They've been successful doing it in Korea. Matt Williams was my third base coach, and he's managing there right now. So that's been the trick there, and that's the rhetoric we're going to try to give our guys.
All right, good for me. I didn't realize that, so I learned something there. Empty ballparks, no ambiance, no noise. 60 games. It's probably going to take 4 or 5 games for them to get used to it. You're a player. What's your take on that for a sec? Let me hear.
Yeah, it'll be tough, but it's just something everybody's going to have to deal with. You'll have the spring training. We'll have inter-squad games. Hopefully we have a couple games against the Giants toward the end that gets you used to it when you go forward. But everything's going to be different, and you just try to take each and every day for what it is. Not look too far into it. Do the best you can as far as distancing and all the things that we're going to have to do in a particular day. Hopefully win the game, move on to the next day, and try to do the same thing.
I know I'm about 3 weeks too early with this question. Will you manage games as a manager in a short season? Will you manage the first 10, 12 games very differently and try to make sure you get off to a good start and avoid a losing streak or a bad loss? Does Bob Melvin handle your ball games early in the year plenty differently than you normally would? I guess you do, correct?
Sure. There's some urgency. I mean, every game's worth 3 now. Now, once you get going, there's certain guys that you have to stick with. They're struggling some. There's certain guys that whether you go to a platoon, whether you cut the cord a little bit on some of the at-bats if they're struggling, that's going to have to be determined kind of instinctually. Our front office has a lot of input too, so we'll talk about this from day to day, but it's going to be totally different than, we got to stick with this guy through 150 at-bats because he's a guy we expect to produce for us. Might not be the same in 60 games.
Interesting with the schedule because, you're going to be playing for wild cards specifically against teams that you're not going to get a chance to play most likely in the other 2 divisions in the East and the Central in the course of the year, Bob. A little different not getting a head-to-head shot against, say, Tampa or against, maybe the Indians. Might be a little different scenario for these teams in pennant race baseball in September. What's your take there?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And once you do get to the postseason, you potentially are playing teams in the American League that you haven't played all year. So, scouting, all that sort of thing, you have some different things you're going to have to do as far as video and so forth. Hopefully get to that point where we are in the postseason, but it's going to be completely different because you're not going to have a lot of the tools that you normally have during the course of the season. And we're a very, very analytic ball club. We're not going to have a lot of the information, at least for this season, that we have in the past.
I know it's funny too, Robert. You think about the other divisions; they're close. The East and in the baseball. Listen, the Mets and the Yankees, the Phillies and the Orioles. I mean, these teams are close. Not so much. You have the Giants, but you still got to get in the plane a lot. Plus, you got to go to Houston and Texas anyway. What's your take on the travel? Harder for the 2 Western divisions. What's your take there?
It's always been that case for us in Seattle, even more so. They don't have anybody that's close to them. So, you're going to be in the plane, but that's where it's going to be doubly important to have your guys take this thing real seriously. And if everybody stays healthy within your group and they do the social distancing, they go to the hotel, you can hopefully create that bubble. And that's what we're going to try to reinforce, obviously.
We'll talk to you soon, Bob. You stay healthy and get off to a good start. Thank you for a few minutes here today. Always appreciate it.
My pleasure. Anytime for you.
You got it, Bob Melvin. Our thoughts, the A's skipper getting ready here for spring training too. Good job, Moses. And, of course, Mitch Green, Liberty Mutual. We'll see you quickly and down the road here on High Heat. Adios.